my name's Jim from All American Water, and what we're going to do today is show you what an airlock tank is. We had a customer saw some of our videos on YouTube, and the way I described the airlock tank, he figured out that's what he had, and he called us, and actually we're at his house. It's Jeremy here in Newark, Texas. And so he's taking the video for me, and we're going to use his system to show you what it really looks like. Now in the video I said typically when you have an airlock tank, you're going to get air in the lines in the house, and he said he experienced that. And then I said if you shake your tank, it's going to be light. So you can see that this tank is really light. That's because it's full of air. So a couple of things that you can do as a homeowner before you call us, or you may not even want to call us. You can take a 9/16" wrench and take your pressure gauge off. Now when I take this off, it's going to be really loud. And as I make the video, you're probably going to want to fast forward through it through this loud part, but just for the sake of not having to cut and paste, we're going to do it like that. The reason why it's airlocked is because the air volume control valve here doesn't work for whatever reason. This is what we're going to replace it with, and when the way it works is there's air in the tank, and air would go out this hole right here. Well, when the water comes up and touches this little lever, it plugs off the hole, and then the air is compressed from right here up to about there. So if you get more air in it than you need, and you've got 30 pounds of pressure on it, as this falls, air is going to escape through there so you don't get an airlock tank. And usually it's debris, iron, if you've got iron in your well, those are some things that will cause this problem. It also looks like it may have been leaking at one time and somebody screwed it in. If you screw those in too far, it won't let any air out, and that will be another problem that you'll have. So when I take this off, it's going to spew a lot of air. We're going to also leave the pump on because I might not be able to take this air volume control valve off with it as light as it is. I'm just going to put some water in there and use that for leverage. And fortunately on this pressure switch on this side, there's a little handle that I can raise up, and it will disconnect the contacts when this gets some water in it, so I can have some leverage and I don't have to go over to the breaker panel and shut off the electricity. So plug your ears. You're going to want to hold on to the pressure gauge too, because this has got 50 pounds of pressure on it, so it's going to be kind of explosive.
I can turn the breaker off if you need.
Well, it didn't work. Alright, I'm going to step over and turn the breaker off. The little lever on the pressure switch didn't work, so now we're going to be faced with another issue.
Should be in the big one. Down on the bottom. Excuse my mess.
Don't worry about Jeremy's mess. His wife will be home to clean it up later, to include mine. So what happened was the lever did not work and did not disconnect the contacts when they were supposed to. So now I've got 20 pounds of pressure on there, and the water is at least here, as you can tell. So what I'm going to do is go outside, grab a faucet real quick, drain some water off of it, and then we'll go ahead and finish taking out the air volume control valve. If you decide to do this on your own, when you remove the air volume control valve, you're going to want to get an air volume control valve that's for a deep well. Some of them will say DWJ on them. I'm not sure if you can see that, but you want to ask for a deep well air volume control valve. And if not, you're not going to get the same results that you need. The other thing is, please make sure that your air volume or your pressure is off your air volume control valve, completely down to 0. The other day I was in a hurry and there was, looked like it said 20 pounds of pressure on there, and you can't check the actual pressure in these tanks if the pressure gauge doesn't work. So when I was pulling the air volume control valve out, it shot it out of my hand like a bullet, and it slammed into the guy's well house, and it bent this into a U for, I don't know how that happened, but it can still be dangerous if you get in a hurry, so please take your time. If you decide to do this on your own for your own safety, or I had another friend of mine in the water well business, he did that and it shot a hole in the customer's wall. And being this is Jeremy's garage, he probably doesn't want my using an air volume control valve to break the his wife's china and antiques there.
I don't care.
Well, he doesn't care, but perhaps when his wife gets home, he can blame it on the water well guy and not give my number, I hope.
That's 3 square feet of my garage I'll get back.
But as you can tell, it doesn't shake as easily. It might be a little deceiving on the video, but it is much heavier. And once again, the reason why I'm filling it halfway up is this is empty. And these get put in when they're brand new. Some guys won't lubricate them or put pipe dope on them, which helps lubricate them. Or they've been in there a long time and they're real hard to get out. So I may have to beat one pipe wrench to get this broken loose. But when you're trying to do that on an empty tank, you run the risk of breaking pipes and stuff. And that just added work that you've got to do. And I'm trying to get out of Jeremy's garage as quickly as possible. Kind of like take his money and run if I can, but and I'm just kidding. Those of you that have watched our videos, you can tell that we don't do business that way. Now you can see air bubbles coming out. That means that the water has gotten beyond here, hopefully, and so that's why you see the air there. So when I take this pressure gauge off, no more water's coming out of it. Okay, the air's out, and as you can see, these aren't always that easy to take out. All right, we have another little problem, and that's the float. Sometimes the floats will get smashed in there. Now, typically we want to yank that out real quick, but normally it may not hurt it. However, I had another business associate that pulled this out, left the float in there. Somehow the float got down to the bottom down here and got plugged in there. Water would go into the tank, no water would go out because that plug fit perfect in the hole there. So it was another circus act to get all that out. So just take your time, take some pliers, channel locks, or whatever you need to do to get it out. And it can be a wrestling match also. So as you can see, it was pretty much flat and wouldn't come out of there. And if you look at the handle where the float is supposed to go, you see how this one works here. It moves real easy, where Jeremy's doesn't move at all. So that's why no air was able to escape, because it just got locked up in there with debris and whatnot. So we'll just put this back in there. You're going to want to put pipe dope on it. And I did that ahead of time. And since we know the water's about right here, we'll just put the pressure gauge back on, because what it'll do is it'll compress the air from here to here. And a sign of a healthy tank is you'll feel a temperature difference. Right now it's February here in Texas, so it's a little chilly. The tank is cold, but where the water is, it's warm. And the water is about 68 degrees, so that tells you this is probably 55 degrees or so. So we'll just go ahead and put this in. And takes a 9/16 rinse once again. And we'll go turn the pump on. So now it's shut off, and his is at 65, so at 45 it comes on, and at 65 it shuts off. Jeremy's fixed. There's no water dripping from the air volume control valve. It's pressured up and it's shut off. Everything is good. So if he gets excessive air in there and it's got 30 pounds of pressure on it, the air will leave out of the air volume control valve and maintain a healthy galvanized pressure tank. I appreciate your time and watching the video. If you have any questions, please feel free to call us at 940-389-6850. No matter where you're at, we'll answer your questions. We had a call from a guy in Canada the other day, so we're willing to help you over the phone if we can. We appreciate your time, and you guys have a great day.